Hello guys, Yoshi here, and welcome back to my CTR Racing Nitro Field 100%, or Crash Team Racing Nitro Field playthrough 100%. In the last episode, we did Out of Time and Oxide's time trial on that track, and we're getting really close to being done. We only have like 10 tracks left, and now we're on to the last of the two remaining CNK courses, Assembly Lane. Which means we're almost done with Beanox crates as well, which means we'll finally get to see unlockable we get for all the Beanox crates. Now, since a lot of the other modes don't seem to be really anything fun, from what I gather, any mode other than Rain Attack, which was the new one, is not actually required for the true 100% of getting every single character unlock. Of course, everything else I did was, but not this one. So we have another Crash Nitro Kart track. This one has lots of time save potential, as there's lots of corner turns we do. So, the basic idea of this one is you turn around and head to the right, and you pick up the Beanox crate in this corner, and that's all you do. In case you're wondering, a save icon appears whenever you get a Beanox crate, which is really cool. As for how to do this thing fast, this is more or less a simpler version of the Engine Labs track. The main thing I am going to do with the boost reserves is try and... Ah, gosh dang it. That's not fun when you lose your reserves like that. So I finally figured out what the trick is all about. You basically, as you boost, you get reserves as you go along. And as your reserves get bigger, your top speed increases significantly. If you hit a single wall or you take too long in a specific spot or not boosting enough, you'll lose your reserves completely and you'll have to do other stuff. There's also fire as well, which is this game's form of a big boost. And if you're losing that, it just costs you a little bit of speed. But if you do really badly, it's possible to lose your reserves. The reserves is a thing that was added as early as actually Crash Nitro Kart. So Crash Nitro Kart was the first game to introduce that true new boost mechanic to the game. So because of that, we can go significantly faster in every track by using this properly. And there's also jumps that we could do as well. Each jump will also add to the boost. So we want to jump in very specific spots. And only brake drift when we need to. The brake drift tech that I mentioned, if you do the brake drift properly, it's possible to keep your reserves through the entire thing and not lose your boost. Now keep in mind, not all jumps will be good. Some of them will actually cause you to lose the boost permanently for a while. So you have to kind of pick and choose. Strategy I use here is kind of just doing that. Okay, 59 lap at the end. I will say though that we already completed another bonus challenge, by the way. There's daily challenge, pro challenges, and weekly challenges you can complete throughout the week. Alright, so now we get to face Entropy's time on this track. Again, we are kind of slow to begin with because of not being able to do really well, but Subway Lane, not one of those tricky tracks that we don't really know much about, so it's pretty expected to pretty much barely have beaten Entropy there, so I can only imagine what Oxide's time will be on this track. Keep in mind, that's after stopping to go have the Beanox crate in the side. Most of this is going to be about cutting the corners really sharp. Like, one of my main strategies has almost always been cutting the corners sharp. And when I can't get drift boosts at specific spots, so this thing's been costing me my reserves lately, so I need to not boost around here in order to keep my reserves. That's another thing. Knowing exactly when to jump is probably the trickiest part here, so that you can know exactly when to keep your reserves. That seems to be the spot where I lose my reserves, by the way. That's kind of a risky strategy right there, going around the corner, but since this is a very well optimized track, I have to save every little bit of time to beat Oxide on this track. Even Entropy initially didn't look like a cakewalk at all until I actually got into the track. Still though, I'm glad I learned not to jump here. In case you're wondering what the reserves is, you only get a reserve when getting a perfect on the drift. It has to be a perfect, otherwise it won't work. And you get fire from the different zippers that you encounter. Any wall you hit will also immediately reset your fame. That's where the fire trick actually comes into play. If you keep your reserves long enough, it's possible to keep fire through an entire lap and go insanely fast. It's a pretty insane trick. I'm calling it the reserve tech from now on because it's arguably the best way of going fast, but the way you keep it is kinda tricky. Like, I ended up jumping there on that last jump a couple jumps ago, and that cost me my reserves because I wasn't able to get enough in time. That's just an unfortunate side effect that happens. There are a couple of times where you'll nearly lose them, but as long as you keep them for a little while, the thing will be good. So this was a decent fire trick at the end. We kept it for almost one whole lap, which was really good. And a sub 58 lap at the end. There. Quick improvement there, by the way, by 12 whole seconds. I'm a fast learner, man. It doesn't take me long to improve my times at tracks. And it's become a lot easier to do now that I know how to actually use the reserve check properly. Sub 3 I have to get, eh? That's what I need to beat Oxide? Huh, that's not a challenge. Especially with the route I've devised. You know, if I start failing Oxide from now on, but have a decently fast time, I should put my own ghost dot as well to see if I'm following the line properly or not, because then I'll know if I should reset or not. As long as I stay in 2 with my ghost, it should be fine. Okay, this jump doesn't seem to be working for me, so I'll do this tech instead. Okay, that's why he probably is winning. Remember, by following Oxide, you learn new shortcuts for this game, just to note. I'm actually surprised I was able to get a 256 without even knowing that shortcut existed. I will say that's pretty good for just starting out on this. I think he's gonna do the same thing as me. 1, 2, and a 3. And yep, there's a secret jump off the side. I still got sub 59 from all that. Ah, you jump over that. I see. It's almost impossible to slow down to Oxide's level and keep up with what he's doing. But I noticed that I got a 58 last time. It's specifically because I know my PP is faster than him that I'm not going to learn the track initially. Well, I don't know what that was from Oxide there, but he just failed that miserably. Oh, that makes keeping reserves a lot easier. That's probably where it was, and now because I bonked I can't get it anymore. Don't know why I went for an all-out 3, especially considering my PV was faster than this, but hey, it is what it is. Another trick you could use is when your tires light up, you get kind of an idea on how to boost properly. Oh, that's much easier than I thought. I just did badly there because I lost boost there. Yeah, the first lap against Oxide and some of the tracks is kinda tricky when you don't know the shortcuts, but once you do, it becomes sure easier of a game once that's done. Dude, that's one of the easier jumps to make as well. Yeah, now we're putting lap times to the 55s with this. Okay, I think I did enough to the point where my reserves will die if I do a jump. Keep in mind, there's lots of bullcrap ways for you to lose this. You can hit a wall on accident, a random collision will sometimes take away from you, sometimes you'll lose it just because you went for a jump you're not supposed to make. It's so dumb how you lose them sometimes, but yeah. And you'll always lose them over time, as time passes, so you have to play really well and jump quite a bit in order to maintain them. I'm honestly not sure why I put that box there, by the way. There, you see, one jump is all it takes, and you just lose reserves like that. But that was a really good chain, I will think. It's probably the longest I've kept reserves for, and that was a 15-1 lap at the end, and 15-second improvement with the shortcuts. Jeez Louise. Wow, the improvement's just coming in big time now. Well, on to the next one. As well as the next Beanox crate. By the way, there's hardly any loading times within these. Eventually, that's where all the loading times are, really. So now for the final one, Hyper Speed Speedway. And it's located in the second asteroid section. Oh, it's to the right. That's actually pretty easy. Now, Hyperspeed Speedway is kind of a tricky course to keep boosts for, I will not lie. It is one, if not the hardest ones to do. It also had one of the biggest RNG moments in gaming ever. If you get items on this shortcut right here, it's almost impossible to keep your boost through it. And basically, I got itemed one time when I was on the big jump of this course. Okay, nice. That was one of the best Beanox crate pickups I've ever had. Good. This track, in my opinion, is kind of tricky to keep reserves because it's a little too straight for most players, so you have to do lots of hopping around to keep your reserves, and there's lots of chilly spots where you just straight up lose your pink. Goodness, that was a far jump. I think I could go back here, yep. It doesn't save any time if I fall like that. Keep in mind, since I only have to unlock a trophy, I probably shouldn't reset over that, though it's still kind of a stupid thing to happen. That's kind of random as well. It's one of my least favorite sections to mess up. Hate the laser so much, man. You know what? Screw that. That was a dumb fail by me. I always seem to make dumb fails on at least one of the tracks. And it's either just not going the right line or taking the worst line possible. And I will lie, that's one of the worst lines I've ever taken on Hyperspeed Speedway in a while. Even an idiot wouldn't have at least not taken that line. And I just know it. You definitely need to keep reserves for this point, otherwise you just get screwed up. There's the random pink loss there. It comes from just jumping way too high there. And of course, then there's that. Barely made it to the end. The reason why I rage reset, by the way, is because missing this jump out of all the jumps wastes so much time. It wastes about 10 whole seconds if you miss it. It's enough to where I probably wouldn't have gotten the end trophy time if I just stayed along with that. Again, gotta keep fire to this point, otherwise the jumps will get you. Kind of stupid that I messed up this track of all fates, because this is actually one of the easier final tracks in the game. I will say it is more epic than Oxide Station, but still. Not fun when you could just lose a bunch of time for no reason. I don't mind losing it there. It's probably better. Yeah, see, you need a small bit of reserves to get over that, otherwise you just lose time. I think I saved a lot of the time just because of Pink Boost. Okay, we did it. Much better time this time around. No stupid fail on a jump. And that's the only reason why I hate this course, is when you get knocked off of the jump or fail at the jump, it doesn't matter where it is. The game will put you before the jump, so you have to redo it. That fail is so big that it's enough to pretty much cost you the end trophy time as well as the end Oxide time if you were to fail that badly. And I honestly don't know why I should even fail that part. I think because I wave too much. I shouldn't be doing that. I should just be driving straight. If I could only drive straight there, that would not happen. But anyways, to ensure that doesn't happen, I'll make sure to focus this time around and on the left and make sure that I don't mess up, because things have been very bad so far. But overall, this has been going alright so far. Oh, come on. Of course I don't get this, though. The worst part is actually setting up the drift boost on this part. I don't know why, but it's so hard to get drift boost set up here. I'm gonna consider that an instant fail, because if you fail in there, you get set up to pretty much get hit by the fires every time after that, so yeah. This is actually probably one of the more difficult tracks. I didn't say it was easy, though. It was one of the harder tracks, quote-unquote harder tracks. Okay, I don't mind losing reserves there. Unless I keep on that's the second time I've fallen there! I need to stop being an idiot and actually take a good line, for crap's sakes. Come on! Stop failing, Timmy, and actually play the game, please. And to go for the right side there. Man, when you go for the drift strategy... Oh, I see now. There's a jump that I completely missed on the side. That's probably why I'm failing so badly here. Oh, and yeah, you can still get over the jump without reserves. It's just way easier to do with reserves, because that way if you time it late, you won't fail like an idiot. Still couldn't get the reserve chick there, so I'm gonna lose it right here. Okay, yeah, I could do this. Wow! Okay, never mind, I can't do this. That's another one that requires a boost to get through. Oh, he fell off as well, actually. Just noticed that. So that's not free either. You need pink boost to get through that far enough, but still, that's a pretty epic jump, I guess. There we go, I snuck in a reserve this time. Hey, that's much better. That also skips that bad turn setup too, so this is a really good shortcut to take. I like it. Didn't take me very long to get good at it. Though I didn't see it the first time, and then I hailed it the first time, but it is what it is. It's better than falling in that other turn a dozen times. And there I got the pink glitch again. Like I said, you can sometimes lose pink here for no reason, and there's literally nothing you can do, and I have to go down to the side to get there.
Congratulations, you've beaten all my track records. Now you've earned the right to choose me as a racer in the character select screen.
Okay then, Trophy. Is that all you got? Okay then. Okay then. I didn't actually know he had a voice line there. That actually kind of surprised me when I did that. So, and Shofi doesn't have any more track records on these spots. Then who does? That's the real question. I wonder. But I'm probably still going to do that. Alright. Now Nitrous Oxide. I have quite a bit of time to save here. Pretty obvious. I misstepped the part for that on the turn, which I shouldn't have gone on the turn to begin with. The right side was terrible, and everything else was terrible. At least I have an idea on how to take the shortcut now, but still, it is not fun. And probably the worst part is actually holding reserves in this little tiny spot right here. Like, you have a tiny spot to hold this. And then you have to stay straight for like a few minutes. Ah, nice. I got it with the pink as well. Nice. I broke even with Oxide by keeping the pink there. I think he does as well, but I couldn't see. I think it's just because I woe up too high that I lose my pink here. And of course, that's an instant restart, because going over that jump wastes too much time. Yeah, this is not as easy of a track as I first expected. First, it looked kind of straightforward. There's not much stuff. I guess it does look epic, that's for sure, but I will say the jumps on it are not fun to do. Ah, gosh dang it. So that's an instant reset, by the way. Hitting the track on the right side on all... So I need to get that all 3 laps. Similar to the other shortcut, only it's not as hard as the Dragon Mine shortcut is. The Dragon Mine shortcut is definitely one of the worst shortcuts in this game in general. It's just really hard to do. And that kind of threw me off too, because I lost my reserve in one of the dumbest ways possible too. It didn't just happen in the northern right corner. It happened in... what? I think it was the... It was before the turn, like, as well. It happened in the right side or something. Goodness, I had to do a jump to get over that. Hey, whatever I could do to dodge this is good. Did not keep pink for that, so I may lose a little bit of time to Oxide here, because he probably does keep pink. You can keep pink for a pretty long time in this track. Because I slowed down there, I have to miss this as well, because why not? So another reset. I have to get that 3 times in a row so it's not necessarily an easy track to do by any means. Because if I lose boost, I can't do the trick over that. I pretty much need fire to get that trick. Ah, great. You know what? I have time to save. Oxide is, I think, bad enough at this track where I could maybe take a mistake here and get it back. I just need to keep pink for the other 2 parts of the track. That's not terrible. That's gonna be mid. Need to figure out where that thing is, because otherwise I'm gonna lose a lot of time. There we go. We got the pink boost over that, but I lost it from the flame instantly. Thankfully, that's not a bad mistake because Oxide must have done something really bad. So we'll take that. In fact, I think it's probably really slow to the point where I'm actually kind of an idiot. I probably could have taken a fall on that one spot that I mentioned earlier and still got a good time. Enough to beat Oxide. Okay, I think it just slows you down there. Okay, that's not fun. I did not even drift once there. That's gonna make taking this next turn a little bit harder. Because if you don't have fire, you barely make it over here. That's why having pink is so good, because you just go really fast, and yeah, it kind of expects you to have your pink. Which is the super boost, by the way. That bonk will probably cost me that, yeah. I had low reserves there this time, so I know why that happens now. It's because I bonked on the side that I couldn't keep it there. Which means this will be affected as well. But it's fine enough, I guess. And kind of annoying third try course here with all the stupid fails early on, but once we stopped falling off, we got it pretty quick. Still not too bad, but it's definitely one of the harder tracks. Now on to the bonus tracks of the game. We still need to get all the Beanox crates in the area, so we will go ahead and do that on all the bonus tracks now. First is the Twilight Tour Beanox crate, and the Twilight Tour Beanox crate is located at the marketplace at the end of the daytime Arabian section on the track. And there will be a box behind that you can get over the Circle Terrible pad. Alright. But first, we need to do all the other stuff in this game. And there's it. There it is. Easier said than done. This is another track, by the way, where you can keep Pink Boost really easy. It has quite a few wide sections of the track you could just use to get your fire back if you're not good enough. And it also has this mini shortcut that I like as well. Barely a miss there. Oh. I could have sworn I was gonna lose pink there for a second, but we brought it back at the end. May have lost some of my reserves there, but we could get them back still. Lost pink, but kept my reserves. That's not a bad place to lose pink, because this section is really hard anyways. It's probably the longest I've ever kept pink on this track, by the way, which is my big boost. I think the reason why I lose it so early on this track occasionally is because I just end up losing the reserves as well. I don't think that jump is worth it. Especially when you could take a much faster line for this. Alright. Nice finish there. What's really funny is that first line of him saying he's that I've beaten all of N trophies times on his tracks. That's kind of a lie, because there's bonus tracks now. If it was of patch 1.0, then yes, it would be true. But with all the bonus tracks added, we have to do those as well. So yep, Dr. N trophy is back. And also this time, he's probably going to be a little bit more tricky this time. Because all of these are new times. Means all of them have been posted by Beanox, meaning these will probably be a little bit more tougher. That said though, so far this track's not really that hard. Mostly easy with hard sections and lots of wide space to build up your drift boost, so pretty good for the most part. This is probably one of my favorite bonus tracks here. That and Koala Carnival are really good. And I failed. Now Anchovy's gonna gain a little time on me here, because he's gonna keep pink for this section. It's not good, especially considering I was able to keep pink a long time the last few times I did this. Not a good lap one, but we'll try and do better. Because of that, that's gonna rub off onto lap 2 as well, because I don't have pink for this section. In case you're wondering, those water fiends on there are definitely pits, so do not drive down them. You'll be a sad man if you do. Ah, same thing again. Screw that. I'm gonna have to restart that. That's normally not a spot where I lose pink, especially considering I mentioned that I was doing really well, so we'll consider that an epic fail and try again. Hopefully this time we actually do it properly this time. We lost fire there as well. It's really hard not to keep fire though. Okay, now we're keeping up with him, at least. And there goes the pink again, instantly. You know what? Screw this. I'm tired of losing that. We need to keep on retrying that until we actually get it properly. Jeez, let's stop being an idiot and actually get this properly. When I said Beanox was making some decent time trials, I wasn't lying. Any time trial like the original will usually be really easy, but then this is where it gets bad when Beanox gets involved with this. My apologies, but it is what it is. Yeah, all sorts of mistakes are happening right now. Speaking of which, I lost my pink yet again. But that's not including the fact that there could still be a shortcut in here. Jeez, Elise Trophy, could you slow down for just a second? This is probably one of the biggest challenges against Dead Trophy I've ever had in a while. Anything, like I said, involving Beanox is gonna be really difficult. Somehow I kept my reserves despite clearly hitting that wall. Hooray! I actually kept pink this time! Unlike some idiots before that weren't keeping it. Yeah, this is a very hard trophy time. Screw that. I'm gonna probably have to reset until I keep pink all 3 times, because this is getting annoying. This isn't even the Blends time trial thing. Keep in mind, there's a Buell time trial as well. Okay, this time we kept fire with him all the way through here and kept it further than he did. Now I finally lost it. I think now I have a decent enough lead. Keep in mind, if your reserves are low after getting pink fire, it's possible to lose it early. I've had that happen, like, quite a few times. Yeah, so this track is literally about the pink fire chick, just as I thought. And it just lost itself there. Keep bonking against the wall, not good. And I got hit by that guy. Honestly, guys, you don't know how much time that's gonna cost. I never get hit by that guy usually, so that's gonna cost a ton of time because Anchovy's gonna catch up at a big time once he gets pink. And also, pink will be much harder to keep there. Probably gonna lose it at around this section where you lost it before. Yep. Made it work. 37 lap at the end, by the way. Still a 14-second improvement with all those losses, but still, that was terrifyingly hard just because of the pink chick there, and because I was bad at boosting, apparently. Can't believe I made that dumb mistake of running into that wall 2 times when I could just get pink on top and get more boost. I was just playing really badly, but now I seem to have a consistent strategy down, so hopefully Oxide is not as bad, because I need that. Also, that bird trick, that thing that happened before, I can't let that happen once, so I have to keep pink all 3 times. If I lose it too early in any 3 spots, I have to instantly reset, because DL strategy keeps it until the second pit boost, and it's usually after that where losses can start occurring, but man, that is terrible. And of course, the longer I keep it, the better. If I could keep it really long, then I'll get a good lead over Oxide, but I need to not hit that stinking guy. I need to not hit him. That was the worst part there of that round, is that he was in my way, and yeah. And because how slow they move. That was kind of a bad move. Nearly would have lost my reserves there, probably. Oh gosh. Okay, losing it here is not bad. Like I said, I still have more time to save, but he apparently keeps pink for a really long time. Look at him go. Like I said, I still have tons of time to save. Same spot as before, too. Didn't hit the dude. Thank gosh. That was very clutch, man. I feel good for not hitting him, too. It's one of the easier dudes to avoid normally, too, so not fun when you don't get that. And I did lose pink early. We'll have to see what Oxide actually does before we figure out. Yep, he kept it. Restart. Dang it! Every single time. I always have to lose it at the end. First third lap fail already. not even as hard as the Dragon Mines is, and it's still giving me a big problem like it is. Keep in mind, he wasn't perfect either, which means the Emperor Veal time trial is gonna be even harder. Because I'm guessing he does the pink glitch, keeps this for literally the entire course, which is like crazy, which means you get it from that one spot, and then you just keep adding reserves to it. And that's another instant restart there. That's a new one. I did not expect to get that. Usually I get a boost from that adds to my reserve, and I didn't get it there, so I got confused. And that right there is why this attack sucks. It's like my least favorite part of it. It's a good track, but the time trial is not being kind to me right now because of how optimized it is. Sheesh, Beanox are not playing around at all. They're making me work for getting all of these time trials now. That's probably the perfect way of doing that. And I know to jump here, because otherwise, if I drift there, it always ends badly. I can feel myself slowly down for a second, but then it got back. Okay, well, I saved that a little bit more this time. Keep in mind, he's not perfect either, so we can mess up in one spot. Not there! Dang it. That's so hard to do! Especially considering you have to drift into that. Frick this track, man! Can I just get it done with already? The fact that he capes pink for so long is what really surprises me in the first that. Keep in mind, this isn't even the staff ghosts we're worried about. Imagine if all these were staff ghosts, they'd probably be putting in even more crazier times. It's hard enough to beat Oxide, let alone the staff of the game at a time trial. Oh, and there goes. I have to restart. I just can't take that. That's so terrible how this happened, too. I know I could fix them with jumps, but if I jump too much, I'll lose the pink. So knowing when to jump is so hard. In case you're wondering, booth reserves are only capped when doing perfects, so if you do goods, it won't work, so that's why I have to get so many perfects in a row. Okay, I'm gonna do a jump this time for safety, because that's the turn that screwed me last time. Add an extra reserve to this. Probably too big of a jump there. Okay, I don't mind that. Like I said, it's close enough where I don't mind losing it. Remember, Oxide isn't perfect, so that spot is one spot where I actually don't mind losing it. It's mainly in this section where it does terrible. Oh, I just noticed you lost it as well. Yeah, that's right, buddy. You're in my world now, where I lose boost just as early as you do. Now you see how much I like it, eh? Eh, Oxide? Eh? That seems to be the best strategy for that jump, by the way, jumping early there. Because if I jump too early, I'll get the extra hop there. Sure, I'll do a jump over this section. And no baddie in the way there. Fine. It's late enough to the point where it's not gonna matter. But I do have to work for this record now. Like I said, Oxide isn't perfect, so I can still win. Because I did so good at the other 2 laps, it doesn't matter. In fact, it only really lost about 5 seconds. Well, that's quite a bit, but still. It didn't lose much, so it was enough to be good, so... Thank gosh that's over with. Jeesh, that took way longer than expected. That's just the bonus tracks for you. They can be terrible sometimes. Now we have the prehistoric playground bonus track. This one is another deviously hidden run. Drive around it without taking the track's second shortcut. Turn around and now drive backwards down the shortcut. Find the Beanox crate hidden behind the second bone. Actually, I have a better... Wait, no. To be fair, if I were to do that, it would be bad anyway, so... Alright then. So I will do that then. I will skip the second shortcut and do something else. There is actually a first shortcut as well, but I haven't been able to nail it because I don't know exactly how you're supposed to do it. So I'll probably use the time now to learn it before I do anything else. It says first shortcut, so there's lots of reasons for that. And the first shortcut is coming up right immediately on that spot right there. I could never figure out how to do that. That's one of the weirdest shortcuts in the game, too. I think you do it off this jump. That's what I assume. But you need reserves, of course, to get it. That's probably the fastest way of doing that. That's why I changed up my route a little bit. Originally, I went for a jump on one of the sides instead. Okay. I'll restart just for safety, because you never know what could happen in this. We'll get another chance at the shortcut here. So I know exactly how to enter it now, but I know also that I need reserves for this one. Oh, it's also a pink. No wonder. What? And suddenly I stopped before the end. What the heck was that? Keep in mind, if I fall into the pit a few times, I may not actually unlock the end trophy time, but I'll give it one try just for the heck of it. Again, this is one of my other least favorite tracks, just because this is a bonus track that's new, that I've only played for like the third time now it is that I've played it for now. Hey, there we go. That's much better. I honestly don't know what the frick was happening there, but... we also found a really good path for the dinosaur section as well, so that'll save a lot of time in the future. And I lost reserves there. Bad. Of course. That's all my fault. I'm the one that hit the wall there. Okay, I got it 2 out of 3 times. Not bad for a first timer. This is another one that's probably going to be really tough with pink reserve keeping. Any track where you can relatively keep pink reserve for a long time is generally going to be a very difficult track to learn. Remember when this would automatically take my drift boost occasionally? Okay, we finished with Gotcha Trophy being opened up, which will be good, so I'll leave it at that. Leave a like if you enjoy, comment, rate, subscribe. Sorry about that bad try tour, but we'll make it up in the next video. Leave a like if you enjoy, comment, rate, subscribe, and we're very close to getting this all done. Pretty soon we'll have every single time trial for Oxide be in the game. So we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tracks left to do. So we could definitely do it today if we're good enough. But anyway, leave a like if you enjoyed this. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Peace.